running a little behind on getting my June favorites list up and posted, but here it is. It is a short list this month, but I may babble a bit with it, so I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll still turn into a lengthy video. But anyway, got my computer next to me with my list on it, and here we go. So the first thing that made it onto this list, predictably, is the Special K EOS, the red berries one. I've been using this like crazy. It already has a flat spot on the one side from using it so much because I have been adoring this. I definitely need to send away for another one while they still have supplies in stock because it's supplies limited. When they run out, they run out. So I have the 2 boxes with a receipt to redeem another one currently. And then I'm on the fence about if I want to get 2 more to get 1 more. But there's a limit of 3 per person, so there's that. But also, another EOS. Ho, 2 in 1 month, I know, right? And it's the Tropical Mango one, which this was a newer addition to the list, so I haven't used it as much, but oh my god, it smells so good. It is just absolutely heavenly. I told Kimmy she needs to get herself one too, because it made me think of her, like, the second I opened it, because, like, basically her favorite thing in the world is dried mango, which, to be fair, is really freaking good. But, like, fresh mango is even better in my opinion, but that's just me. But, oh my god, it's so spot on with the scent. It's so lovely. And I feel like they've stepped up their game again with the formula they're using in the more modern EOS releases of the last few. Before that, I don't know, like, some of the newer ones they did last year kind of fell flat on their face in my opinion, but the last couple have been pretty darn good, so I mean, no complaints from me there. And then, even though it is basic as hell, I kind of forgot how much I love it. It's one of those things where it's like, you don't even give it a second thought till something forces you to re-look at it, and then it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I love this thing. Just the regular peppermint and vitamin E Burt's Bees, the basic as hell one, the original one. It's just minty, and I'm gonna put some on right now, honestly. I love this thing. So good. So good. It's like basically the Burt's Bees equivalent of EOS Sweet Mint, so I love it. I haven't put any on this morning, so I'll do it now. Alrighty. It's got the minty tingles, and it's awesome. And unlike when I reviewed it, now I've got this one broken in, so now it goes on a lot easier. Because this one I find when you get a brand new stick of it, it's like that really hard wax that you have to work at to get it going. But once you get it going, it's wonderful. But it's just that initial few applications where it's like, oh, I don't remember it being this hard or this waxy. But then you get past it, it's like, oh, this is more like what I remember it being. Okay. Because I had to replace mine not too long ago, so I have a nice new one that I've only had like less than a month, so it's all good. I replaced my honey one too, actually, so I also realized I never reviewed that, so that'll probably be coming up soon. It'll probably make it onto the next favorites list, knowing me. But anyway, so after that, this, I'm in love with the color even though it's really similar to something I already have. It's a little different, but the color, kind of a mindfuck, and I'm like, why would you name it that? It's an OPI nail polish, and yes, this is the mini-sized bottle. It's like one of the last ones from the Breakfast at Tiffany's said, I've almost worked my way through that box. I mean, I haven't used them all up, but at least I've put them all on at least once now, except for like the last 1 or 2 in there. And this is Pompeii Purple. Does this look purple to you guys? It's pink. It is freaking magenta. This is not purple. Granted, if it hits the light, there's a little bit of a purplish iridescence to it. That is the only thing purple about this. But this is freaking pink. Why would you name that? I don't understand. But I mean, it's a gorgeous color. I'm loving it. Yeah, my nails are down to little stubs. I declawed myself again. But, yeah, I just do not understand the name. So I googled Pompeii because my retarded little self did not know what Pompeii was. Immediately regretted that decision, and really makes it kind of fucked up that they would name a color after that. I mean, for some of my younger viewers, A, sorry for the F-bomb, B, you're gonna learn about it in school anyway, but, I probably should have, but I basically was a high school dropout, so, you know, there's that. But, Pompeii was apparently, like, this city that got totally devastated in, like, the early turn of, like, the 1000s or something, like, really, really, really early in, like, recorded time history, I suppose, but, it got wiped out by this massive volcano explosion, and you can, like, still see the, like, volcanic rock just, like, in the shapes of the bodies and stuff. It's like, ew! Ew! Oh my god, and you would name a nail polish after that? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Like, is this supposed to be the color of the lava? Or is this supposed to be the color of the bodies as they were burnt to death? Like, what the hell? What were you thinking, OPI? Why would you name a color that? I'm kind of horrified over the name. And I feel like a bad person because I love the color itself so much, but it's basically like that same shade of pink that I really loved last summer, just this one has an iridescence to it. But the color name I do not approve of, but the color itself I'm in love with, and I feel like a terrible person for that. Straight up. But yeah, it also makes a certain line in Yellow Submarine particularly fucked up now that I know what Pompeii is, because that was the only thing I knew of Pompeii was that one line in that one movie. It was just the blue meanie laughing going, oh, I haven't laughed this much since Pompeii! And I never really questioned it. I never looked into what the hell Pompeii was. I just assumed it was probably something bad. I didn't anticipate how bad. Yeah. So in hindsight, I'm like, oh my god, I quoted that for years without knowing what the hell I was saying. That's right up there with how many years my sister and I would quote the, are you bluish? You don't look bluish. And it just dawned on me earlier this year that, oh my god, they're making a Jewish joke. It took until all of a sudden my brain connected the dots between that line and in Spaceballs with the Druish princess, and oh, she doesn't even look Druish. And all of a sudden my mind made that leap to the are you bluish, you don't look bluish thing, and then was like, they made a Jew joke, and it went over my head my entire life until just now. I have been quoting that most of my life in front of people that probably were Jewish. I'm a terrible person. Damn it. What the hell, Yellow Submarine? You're just making me a bad person on multiple levels, aren't you? What the hell? Anyway, I digress. Next thing on this list. I don't have the bag anymore to show you, but I reviewed them, so I mean, just go back to that review if you want to see them. But the Skittles Sweet Heat, I forget if I ended up eating 2 or 3 bags of them last month, but I quite enjoyed them. At this point, I think I finally tapered off. I'm good. Maybe at some point in the future I'll have them again, but for right now, got it out of my system, I'm good, but I was thoroughly enjoying the hell out of those. And then, those who follow my social medias are well aware of this making it onto my list. The Beatles Anthology DVDs. I've had these since they came out. Before that, I had the VHS set. Before that, I had the version taped off TV. I actually still have my tapes of that. So it's not like this is new to me by any means. But in all the years that I have had the DVD set, I had never sat down and watched the DVDs from point A to point B, all the way through in one sitting. That's 11 hours of footage, guys, and I finally did. And when I did, my eyes were open to something that I never noticed, because, I mean, I'd watched the DVDs before, but individually, like, each episode of it, like, on its own, and apparently watching it just in little segments like that, my brain didn't notice it. I think maybe subconsciously in a couple spots I did, but I just figured maybe I remembered it wrong. But watching the whole thing from beginning to end, apparently the Beatles are a bit of history revisionists, because this is not the same anthology that came out on the VHSs. And the VHSs are not the same anthology that aired on TV, evidently. I mean, I know that the TV one was shortened into a 6-hour thing, so obviously it didn't have the whole thing that was on the VHS set. But I knew darn well there are certain interview clips of George in here that were definitely from past 1995. So I was like, that's very interesting, given this came out in 95. How are these interview clips from blatantly the later 90s in there? So, I looked very closely at it and I started Googling about this. Yeah, since the DVD set came out in 2002 and the copyright at the end of the movie is from 2002, that is evidence that they made some changes. And then people online have made lists of some of the differences they've noticed. I noticed even more than what was on there because I have watched the anthology so many freaking times beginning to end. I can basically quote the entire thing, all hours of it. So it stood out like a sore thumb to me. Some of the things that have been taken out, some of the things that have been put in their places, like basically the entire Magical Mystery Tour segment is 100% different now, by the way. Just there's a lot of things I noticed are very different, and I was like, how come nobody talks about this? And then when I was researching that, I thought it was just the DVDs that were guilty of this. But no, 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 no. Apparently, all of them have been different from one another. The TV version, the VHS version, the Laserdisc version, and the DVD version. So I'm like, really? Really, though? So, I've still got my VHS set. I still have my version that I taped off TV. I have this set. I never bothered with the Laserdisc because I don't have a Laserdisc player. But I mean, now I really want somebody to digitize the original 95 TV version. It is crucial that it's the 95 version because apparently even by the time they re-aired it in 96, they'd already made some changes. And I'm like, are you shitting me, son? Really? Really, though? Mind blown. I knew I was not being gaslit. I remember there being things different in there. It would explain why every time I've tried to watch this, it just feels so different from the one that I grew up with. Because it legit is different from the one I grew up with. There's a lot of stuff that is the same in it. There's a lot of stuff they changed. So I'm like, what the hell? Oh my god, I mean, some of the changes are for the better, but other ones, they've dropped a lot of the Ringo interview segments. So, as a Ringo girl, I noticed that shit straight away. Maybe other people didn't notice because other people don't really give a shit about Ringo so much, but I do, so I noticed a mile away. And it would make sense that shortly after George's death, they would add in a bunch more George material for this version of it. I also find it interesting that basically anything that had been negative about Yoko in earlier versions of it, totally gone. Totally gone from this one. Yeah. Abbey Road's basically a footnote in this one. It has like less than 10 minutes spent on it, basically. I'm like, and nobody else noticed. Noah. I guess maybe other people aren't as obsessive as I are to where they've watched it so many times that they've memorized it, but since I have, I'm like, I feel the need to point this out that this apparently is a thing, and apparently at least a handful of people on the internet have also noticed and have made some lists about this, but yeah, I noticed things that weren't on those lists, so it makes me wonder just how many in full total are different. But yeah, I just really, really want a digitized version of the original 95 TV version. Should anyone have it, hit me up, please. I'll pay whatever it takes. So, basically the only thing I haven't compared them to yet now, well, I mean, I need that so I can do a fair side-by-side comparison, but the only other thing I haven't compared with is the 1993 Director's Cut Edition, which I just so happen to have right here. It's quite a few discs, but I got it. So, I mean, I still have yet to go through all of those. That one, I mean, I've heard is quite a bit different from all versions because this was like a rough cut version of what turned into the anthology. So, I mean, fair enough. I expect that to be way different, just apparently a lot of the stuff that they, like, censored out specific names of certain people for, like, the eventual finished project. Yeah, they're very much in the director's cut. Like, the dentist's name, who spiked them with the LSD, yeah, his name's in that, apparently. Just one example, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm like, can't wait to watch it, but at the same time, I just sat through 11 hours non-stop not too long ago in one sitting of that. It's going to be a while before I get around to, in one sitting, probably watching the director's cut of however many hours this is. So that's a thing. But having rewatched the entire anthology, it pretty much re-sparked me listening to the anthology discs again, and then from there just kind of starting to re-listen to the entire discography again, and I got really, really over-emotional like a few days ago, just over the realization of they were such, like, fucking go back to my Twitter, I was fucking sobbing, they were such a good band, why did they have to break up? And getting all over emotional, and somebody introduced me to the third track that was supposed to be a new Beatles track for the anthology, since Anthology 1 had Free as a Bird, Anthology 2 had Real Love, Anthology 3 was supposed to have Now and Then on it, but they never finished it. Apparently Paul still has intentions of wanting to finish that track, even though George is gone now too, but I really hope that happens. But I've heard demos of it now, and I got all over emotional over that, and what could have been, and what should have been, and just, there was a lot of things I got really over the top emotional about concerning my boys over like the past week or two. Just, oh my god. Like, every time that I think, maybe I'm growing up a little bit, maybe my fangirlness is kind of settling down. So, yeah, no, it hasn't. It's never going to. I don't think it's ever going to. Hasn't my entire life. Why would it randomly do it as an adult? I don't think so. Ooh, I made a red mark. Sorry about that. But, why would it randomly calm down as an adult when it's been my entire life? I've been an obsessive fangirl of these guys. It's not gonna happen. So, I mean, frankly, I don't think I'd want it to happen either, because that would take a lot of fun out of my life if it did. So, I'm kind of glad that it never settled down for me. Some of my other fandoms have settled down over age, and I think that's maybe why my brain's kind of half expected that eventually the Beatle one would, but it doesn't mean that I don't like them anymore once it settles down. It just means that I'm not hardcore obsessing every single day over them. But let's face it, that shit's not gonna happen with my boys. It's just, it's not going to, and I'm kind of glad for that. So then, next thing on the list, I don't have one right here. I suppose I could go run downstairs and get one, but again, I've also reviewed this on my channel, so I kind of don't need to show it, because you guys have seen it, but the Lipton iced tea, the tropical one, yeah, I've pretty much been drinking those daily. Since a little bit before I reviewed that. So, I made the list because it's been pretty much a constant all month. And then this, you guys may be surprised, made the list, given that I kind of publicly flayed this when I reviewed it back in November, but it may even deserve a re-review and a revisitation, but the Celestial Seasonings and Cranberry Apple Zinger. Remember how I thought it made me want to barf originally? Fun story, I was hungover when I reviewed that, so I think anything I would have drank that day was gonna make me feel like I was gonna barf. But because I didn't connect those dots in my hungover brain, I was just scared to touch it again for the longest time, and I finally got brave enough to, about a month ago, just for shits and giggles, and figured, you know what, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Make me feel sick again? Woo, who cares? So I made some, and was like, what the hell was I smoking when I freaking reviewed it? This is good. Why was I so harsh on it? And then I remembered, oh yeah, it was the day after Thanksgiving and I was hungover as fuck. So, I mean, you know, there's that. But having had it while sober, I'm like, this is actually really good. I really shouldn't have been so harsh on it. And I probably should give it a re-review now that, you know, I'm not hungover. But it took me a long time to get brave enough to try it again. And I'm glad that I did, but yeah, now I feel silly that I gave it such a bad review, because it didn't deserve that, and I had a feeling at the time it probably didn't actually deserve that, but I've tried it on its own, I've tried it sweetened with honey, I've tried it sweetened with sugar, I've tried it sweetened with Splenda. So, I think honey is the best sweetener for this one, but I mean, it's drinkable even without it, so, I mean, just throwing that out there that Yeah, my feelings have changed about this guy. I feel really bad for being so cruel about it before because it didn't deserve that. It deserved a second chance. I'm glad I gave it a second chance. So, and then let's see. Oh, we're at the end of the list. One last thing. Again, you saw this in a review, and you'll probably be shocked that I've used this much already. But yeah, the the Cafe Bouquet Paris Bath and Body Works 3-wick candle. Remember, I was like so hesitant about this thing originally. Now it's like at the halfway point, and I only stopped at the halfway point because I thought I was maybe having. Let me tilt this down a little so I can sit, because I'm making my feet go numb from being on my toes. I've literally been crouched on my toes this whole time, but I don't know. I feel like I'm having second thoughts again about it now, so I stopped burning it halfway down, because it was like, when it's cold, it smells good, but then when I burn it again, it kind of takes on this weird kerosene-y, smoky smell that's not great, so I was still considering maybe I will go exchange it, but the longer that time goes by, the more I'm like, no, I'm not. We know I'm just gonna use it up. So, I mean, even with the pooling, you can see the slight discoloration in the wax down to here. So, I mean, this thing is not long for this world. Probably a few more burns and it'll be done. Because this one is a really fast burning one. This, believe it or not, has only been burned about 6 times and it's down that far. It is a very hot burner. It's a very fast burner. Which, I mean, is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does mean it's going to get used up a lot more quickly, and it makes me wonder if the other locations ones that I bought from this sale are going to be the same way. I would imagine so, but yeah, on cold it smells really good, but just heated up now. I mean, it's not like I've been snuffing it out by putting a cap on it and getting smoke trapped in the wax. I've not been doing that intentionally, so that it would not do that and it would not discolor that wax, but it's still happening somewhat. So I don't know if that's just an issue with the candle as of a certain point, because some Bath and Body Works candles, no matter what you do, they get that way about partway through. Um, so I don't know if that's just a thing with this candle or if it's just mine. But truth be told, I'm probably just gonna use up the rest of it since it's been like a month. I haven't gotten anybody to bring me back to the store to go swap it, so I don't think I'm probably just gonna burn the rest of it. But I was hesitating because I've heard that with candles, as long as like half the product is still there, you can do it. And I measured it's like exactly at the halfway point right now, so I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta do this now before I burn it even one more time. But the more time that goes by, I'm like, nobody's gonna grind me back out there, are they? Nah, I don't think so. So I may as well just burn the rest of it. So, I don't know. I have enjoyed it aside from the weird kerosene smell that it's taken on. I just wish the kerosene thing weren't a thing, but yeah, for how quickly it's burning, I'm like, damn. I am actually really impressed with it. I feel like the ones that have essential oils in them don't burn as quickly and don't burn as evenly or well. This one does not have that in it, and look how quickly it goes. Just saying, just saying. I've also learned that apparently essential oils are super dangerous around pets, so I'm kind of glad that this doesn't have that in it because I'm not accidentally poisoning my dog by burning it, so... Although now that I know that, I've been keeping my door shut when I have burnt ones that do have them in it and making sure she's not in the room when I do so hopefully that's protections enough, but I don't know. So, anyway, like I said, even with a shorter list, this still ended up being almost 25 minutes long, so that's not terrible, I suppose, but yeah, so... Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I almost said an icon. Leave comments down below. What was your favorite thing from this month's list, or what's just some stuff you've been enjoying this past month? Let me know down below, as well as anything else if you like leaving me. Make sure you follow my social media accounts. They're all listed down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. So anyway, guys, till next time. Bye-bye.